Hello, my lovelies. I wanted to just do a quick little hello and check in. I don't often do videos to say hi, but I thought it would be kind of a fun little intimate way to say hello. And this is, if you're watching this, you're somehow connected to my community and to me. And I wanted to kind of, if you also follow me on social media, there might be some crazy light happening. So I just apologize in advance. I'm in my living room, but I've got like light over there, light over there, light behind me, light over there. So there might be some fun things. But what I wanted to do is just actually clear up a couple things about what's happening with me right now. And I also thought it'd be fun to do a little energy forecast for February. I actually feel like, before I kind of get into my updates for my personal stuff, you might, I don't know how everyone is doing, but January was pretty intense for a lot of us, myself included. I had some major health funkiness happening. Actually thought I was sick from a virus that ended up being mold. So lots of fun things there. Found out I was allergic to several drugs. That was also fun. So anyway, I had a really a bit of a rough go with my health in January, but it was actually a really powerful time for me. It was really, really, really beautiful. I ended up with a lot of time for deep integration of the last 8 years of my life, and really looking at just getting so clear on so many things. And so some of the social media things that you might have seen kind of have come from that. I've come to some clarity and realizations for a few things. But what I wanted to say, some kind of mixing and blending my own personal stuff with the forecast, which kind of they kind of go together, actually. We're all riding the big wave of life together. But February, I feel like, is actually kind of like the real entrance into 2022 for a lot of reasons. I feel like January was a lot of digesting. It was for me, and clarity and integration, and a lot of just sloughing off anything that was complete, really the completion of the completion, a lot of cycles coming to an end, and a lot of clarity. So with that, you might have seen a couple pieces that I'm looking around. So the thing that I wanted to say here is, yes, I am kind of getting creative in how my personal life is working right now in terms of my finances, my home, all these different things. But I wanted to let you all know that I have no plans whatsoever to abandon my intuitive work. In fact, it's actually I actually feel like I'm trying to make some space and build some bigger supports for something bigger that's actually coming. And that's where February right now, a lot of downloads, a lot of flow, a lot of information. So right now, I have been in pretty deep listening and some deep expansion, a lot of pretty wild downloads happening in the last few days, couple weeks. It's been a lot. So I just wanted to give you guys an update now, just personally. Yes, I still am continuing with intuitive work. If you are interested in readings, I blend kind of an Akashic tarot, intuitive tarot reading, so you get to see some cards and kind of more ground the information that I channel for you. So if you haven't had a reading with me, you'll know that I do channel a lot of information. I do channel from spirit and your own soul information. And I like to do that now with tarot because I feel like it actually helps to kind of anchor in sometimes with a lot of info into kind of a more three-dimensional experience, and also kind of more an integrative experience. You get to I feel like you get to participate more.
um, which for me is important than just throwing a bunch of information at you. So anyway, those are the intuitive readings that I'm still doing. I am still doing one-on-one spiritual coaching. Any of those things, if you are curious, you can just reach out. And I am brewing something, I think, for the spring, but more about that when it manifests. Okay, so that's me. So rest assured, I'm not quitting. I'm still here. I love you all. And I wanted to do, speaking of tarot, have my lovely cup of coffee with my fabulous Freedom mug. And one of the pieces, just personally, I'll share with you guys too, that have come for me or come through me, is just the importance of grounding and the importance of, and by grounding, I really mean actually being connected to our bodies, being really embodied is how we ground. It's one of the easiest, simplest, when we talk about manifest and all of this stuff, like through the body, and more and more and more I am being shown that the body is this incredible bridge between and of spirit and material. It is the manifestation of the conversation of both at the same time. So that's really important. Grounding is very important. And the heart is a really important kind of gateway for, it's almost like the communicator between, or the interpreter. You could look at it as that way, interpreter of helping us really understand and integrate our earthly experience with our spiritual experience. So anyway, more about that soon. I'm gonna have some coffee. And, energy update. So, cards. I apologize if this sounds a little funky. I did try to make the fan stop, but yeah, this is an imperfect experience, but it'll be perfect. If you are wondering what deck I use, I have been really loving this one, which is the Light Seers Tarot. I know it's backwards. I love the imagery on this one. It kind of goes with my kind of no BS spirituality approach. It's really grounded. I really love the symbology in this deck. And I feel like it's easy to relate in our modern world. Okay. So, interesting. I've not cut for a while, so that was fun. Okay. Oh, so this makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Okay, let's go through these one by one. We have the theme of the Lover's card. Number 6. So we are actually in, and I'm trying to get okay, there we go. I love this imagery. It's so beautiful. We are actually in the Lover's year of the tarot, because 2022 is if you sum up the numbers, it's a 6, which is the Lover's card, which corresponds to this card of the major arcana of the tarot. This card is all about relationship, and I know we think about romantic relationship in particular with this card. There is a little bit of that going on, because I know that there's some astro juiciness actually coming around that's associated with this full moon, February 16th, which is right around like Valentine's. There's a lot of like Valentine's Day this year energy. I'm not a subscriber to all this stuff, but like in terms of the, commercialization and all of, I'm down for the chocolate, but other than that, but this year, my peeps, there is a lot of energy aligning in this particular time of year. So kind of like the February 12th to like the 16th is the feeling I'm getting. And actually the 15th really feels really potent too, which is like the day right before or 2 days right before the full moon, depending on where you are in the world. So you might actually feel this particular energy more acutely expressed as a theme that might continue. And so the reason why I'm talking about the year is that this theme's actually with us all year long. We might have some more like acute, specific examples that get sparked or stirred around Valentine's Day of 2022 that will continue. So but what this is pointing to, and again, I want to talk a little bit about grounding as well, because it's really, really important to stay grounded. We can kind of, especially if this is for you personally, a lovership or a relationship, a romantic relationship, particularly if you were a woman, we tend to kind of get lost. So this is a place where really, just to be clear about your own relationship to yourself, your own desires. This is about, and because all of these things, like being clear about ourselves, being clear about our desire, being clear about anchoring into our own clarity, really, is actually what allows us to filter in relationship to others. And it's not about filter, like I'm not talking about blocking people and that kind of filter. I'm actually talking about filtering how we relate to other people. Is this someone who is going to come into my inner circle of trust, or is this someone who is more of an acquaintance and further out? You know, think about like if you're like the sun and the planets of your relationships are revolving around you, like who are those? You know, each planet kind of has its own personality and essence and kind of what they contribute. So what is it that you need from a relationship? What is it that you contribute to a relationship? So these themes are going to be very important this month as well as throughout the year. So, speaking of knowing what you want, ladies and gents, the Queen of Wands is all about this kind of, she is this sassy, saucy, passionate, fiery. You know, the wands are the element of fire. So there might be a lot of passionate connections happening this month. But she's also kind of a badass when it comes to clarity. When I think about this card, I actually think about my cat Pele. If you've not met Cat Pele, she's named after the volcano goddess of creation and destruction. And she knows what she effing wants. And she asks for it in the moment. She is not the quiet like meow. She is like the meow, like give it to me now. I'm here for it. She doesn't demand, but she, in her essence, in her presence, she has such clarity that her energy actually like pulls it in. So this is kind of this energy of like, oh, are we? Okay, we're still going. I don't know what happened there, but my time did something funky. So yeah, we're still recording. Anyway, this is about the clarity I was talking about. So these cards obviously work together. Clarity and desire. Clarity and desire in relationship. And everything is a relationship. So you might not be experiencing this whole romantic, intense relationship in your actual romantic relationships. This might be something that's coming out in your business. It might be something that's coming through in your family. It could be something that's coming through for you in different places. And so if you're into astro, if you're an astro geek like me, you can look it up in your chart to see kind of where are these pieces coming through. A clue is also to look at where we just are moving through the ends of Venus retrograde. And that's the other reason why I think this is going to be, I think we're coming out of it somewhere around Valentine's Day, which is where this is all kind of accumulating. But you can also kind of look at what are, in the last couple months, what are the relational themes that have been coming up? Where have you had to actually get clear? So this can be in community, this can be in boundaries, all of these things included. I'm going to keep rolling because I don't want this to be too long. 8 of Cups reversed is what we have for our final card. There we go. I'm going to show this upright Hmm. But it did come to us reverse. What does that mean? That means it's the inside job. So the Eight of Cups is interesting. The eight is a completion. So eight is a number, like I was talking about my 8-year cycle. This is really looking at those deeper internal patterns. So this could be shadow stuff that you've been working on or maybe not working on over the last while. This is major kind of life path themes that we are being asked to review and complete. The Eight of Cups is all about water. So water being the element of our emotions, our intuition. There's a sense of, it's actually really funny. They're showing me kind of the reflective qualities of water, of course. You know, when we're looking into a still pool of water, we're looking back at stillness, right? So that stillness allows us to actually look clearly at ourselves. So there's that like mirror reflective element here, and what we're looking at, and they're really asking me, and when I'm talking about they, I'm talking about spirit and my guides and the guides that are channeling this right now. They are really talking about the need. They're actually, the word that they use is requirement. There is a requirement for self-compassion, and they're very, like, it's very matter of fact. They're basically saying, like, all of this work that we are doing without being self-compassionate, if we are judging ourselves based on what we could have done, should have done, if we're kind of like, it's like the feeling is, it's like if we're punishing ourselves now for things that we did in the past, they're just really matter of fact about it. Like, they're just like, don't, stop doing that. They're like, stop doing that. It's not helpful. In closing these cycles, we actually need to be able to really see and feel those experiences from a compassionate witness lens. We have to be able to look at that stuff and go, shit, I made mistakes, and self, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry for those decisions that I made. And now, from where I stand and from the clarity that I have now, I would like to make some new choices. And even though we might not know what those choices look like yet, that's part of the development and growth that we have for this year ahead. It doesn't matter if we know. It doesn't matter what the new choice is going to be. What they're saying is it's time to really forgive yourself from your past choices, and that's part of the completion cycle. So it's actually not about, like, they're talking about, like, there's an element of, like, in this card of, like, walking away. But if you look at this is why I love these images. If you look at this last cup with the fire in it, it's like she has acknowledged, it's like she's completed a ceremony, and she's really, really felt into and acknowledged all of those places and spaces where she really understands and sees the lessons learned, and she can forgive herself, which is how she can move on. Not by just cutting cords and trying to make them go away. This is not about spiritual bypassing at all. This is really about, I've moved through, and again, they're showing me the heart. I've moved this energy, I've moved through my emotional experience through the heart space. And I've tapped into my own heart space and compassion. And I've learned that it's okay. It's okay to forgive myself. It's okay to have made those mistakes. It's okay, because this is a process of learning and growing and journeying. I'm just going to listen for one moment to see. They seem quite content, so I think the message is complete. So yeah, they're pointing to this being you as the center of and the creator of your life. They're pointing to how you do one thing is how you do everything. This is where relationship comes in the Lover's card. And they are looking at, where are the cycles of completion? How can you actually just just be in that space, you know, without having to move on, without having to push, without having to be into the like, what's next and what am I going to do about it and have a plan. And they're really asking you to rest in the deep feminine here of compassion and unconditional love. And they also want you to know and remember that you are loved always, 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 that you are blessed, that you are needed and wanted here, and that your desires matter and they are important, and not just to you, but to, they're showing me the heart again, to the growth of others, to the support of others. It's part of your journey is also intertwined with the journey of others. Anyway, my dears, that is our forecast for the month of February and into March, and a little bit of shadowing over all of 2020. Happy New Year. Truly, I hope that you are all well. Sending you so much love. Again, if you are curious about readings, you can message me. My pricing right now for tarot is $109 dollars of your currency. So that's US for US, and if for US for the world, and Canadian if you're Canadian. Yeah, that's how I've been rolling. Also, yeah, I actually was called to mention the mentorship again. I had a couple of past clients that I worked with one-on-one recently reach out to me with some kindness, with some sweet words, and kind of like updates. So yeah, that is still open to those who are looking for some mentorship and support. If you are manifesting something into this world, into this new year, or if you're wanting some support in that space and place around relationship, that's a place I'm personally deep diving, and it's really juicy. So anyway, my dears, lots of love to you. Mwah.